Welcome into the Varsity Voices podcast presented by C Spire. It's the fourth quarter of our broadcast, or I should say our podcast, and it's brought to you by Cherokee Brick, America's most trusted brick supplier. Once again, we've got the crew. We got Brandon Davis from Warren Central, Jared Schatz from Germantown. We got our producer, Caleb Hamill, Jake Wimberly, still at a cheerleader competition or getting his hair cut. We don't know where Jake is.
Who cares?
Yeah, who knows where he? I think he's getting his Halloween costume. That's what he's doing. That's 100% what Jake's doing. Finding a Halloween costume.
Dressing up as a clown.
Gonna be. I'm thinking Raggedy Ann.
Yeah,
thinking Raggedy Ann. That's what Jake's gonna be. Or maybe he's going Jake the Snake. Right? He's gonna go get Damien. Gonna go get a big python or a cobra. So we'll see what Jake the Snake is going to put out for his Halloween costume. But it's time for us to take a look at the biggest games of the week. It's the regular season finale for some classifications. 5A, 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A, and then the other classifications 5A, 6A, and 7A. They have one more week of regular season to go. But we'll start off with the big one: Jared Schatz, Madison Central, and Starkville. That's a premier matchup.
Big ball game. I mean, this is really for playoff seeding, and there's, like we said, there's going to be a good football team left behind in District 2, 7A, and some big ball games to determine who that's going to be. Madison Central, Starkville. I mean, this is two different identities at Starkville. Kingston Johnson, who's been a former player of the week with us, where he's been a tremendous quarterback for the Yellow Jackets. And then you have a defense that's trying to find themselves a little up and down. And that's a big ball game for Starkville because they have Oxford the following week to close everything out to finish the regular season. Meanwhile, for the Jaguars, first loss to Germantown. A football team that's already lost to Oxford, so they're probably not going to get the 1 or 2 seed to host. They're just fighting for 3 or 4 to get in. It's a very young offense with an outstanding defense. Madison Central, if they can get off to a good start in this ball game, they're only averaging 102 rushing yards a contest. They really struggled running the football. If they can run the football like they did early on against Germantown, I think they can hang around a while, but man, Starkville's so potent. I mean, this is an offense averaging 388 yards a ball game. Kingston Johnson leading the way. Jaguars must get off to a good start. They cannot play catch-up in this contest.
Yeah, they only have a couple games left because they've got Starkville and then Clinton, and it's basically those 3 teams that are going to be the ones fighting for that last 2 spots. One's going to be left out.
That's crazy.
And Clinton was one of the best teams in the state last year, guys, and I think they were the best team sitting at the house last year. They had, was it 2 or 3 of the best wins in the state of Mississippi? That could possibly happen to them again.
Yeah.
And we'll go to the Pine Belt, a game that Caleb Hamill's going to be at, a big one down there, West Jones and Hattiesburg. Caleb, that is just a huge matchup down there in that portion of the state.
And golly, D.I. Patrick Stadium is spooky enough as it is, and now you get to play a game on Halloween night. It's going to be crazy, y'all. And this is a set of teams that are very, very similar. Gavin Ducksworth has kind of become the front runner, main quarterback that Hattiesburg uses, and has really come alive here lately. Got almost 400 yards of passing last week against George County. We're not talking about a game against Forest Hill, Jim Hill, some of the lower ones of the ranks there in their classification or region. George County, though they're kind of the bottom, maybe the 4th team, still no slouch, a team that put up points against both Hattiesburg and West Jones. But nevertheless, they're a team that's kind of on the rise, one that I was down on early, and they're improving. But I will say, West Jones, a team that is starting to get their footing back defensively and are really clicking on offense right now with Caleb Holmes, the running back, Tootie Lindsay, who we know is the quarterback, and then Chandler Watson, just a tall catching machine. I think this is a battle of some of the top wide receivers with Tristan Keys on the Hattiesburg side and Chandler Watson on the West Jones side. Could be a barn burner. Yeah, last one to finish is going to win 51-50, something like that. Who knows?
Yeah, and as you mentioned, it's Halloween night, and we know crazy things can happen on Halloween. Billy Cannon running the kickoff back, right? You had to be said. Somebody has to say every time Ole Miss and LSU play, every time the game's on Halloween, it's required in everybody's contract to mention Billy Cannon on Halloween night taking the punt return back. So that's the kind of crazy stuff that can happen on Halloween. We'll stay in that portion of the state, Brandon Davis, because there's a huge one. Columbia and Poplarville. Maybe the two favorites in the South to start the season. They're going to be squaring off on Halloween night. Or no, it'll be on Thursday night.
Yeah, good thing that it's not on Halloween night. I know Coach Bilderback is glad, as you said, Brett. Crazy things happen. You've got a Poplarville team 5-3 on the year, and then you have a Columbia team 9-0. Poplarville lost a close game to Macomb. Their records really should be better than what it is. And you have Ty Keys. Ty Keys is, I think, next year going to be one of the better running backs in the entire country. I believe he is one of the top. I think he's in the top 10 in rushing in the country right now. Just a great quarterback. They run the wing tee down there, a lot of misdirection. And then you have Sam Lejeune on the defensive line for Poplarville, that he's going to be an SEC caliber player next year that's going to get a lot of looks. And then for Columbia, I mean, gosh dog, man, Clyde Peters, their quarterback, he's so athletic. I mean, I put him in the same category with Chase Kraft over at Heidelberg, just electric with the football. And when he's on the field, you've got a chance to win. So again, Coach Bilderback's done a nice job coming back in. Columbia is loaded with talent, and this is going to be a good one. And I know that Columbia needs to keep their eyes up, because this is a Poplarville team that's kind of licking their wounds. They feel like they should be better off than what they are, sitting at 5-3. And I know they would love to upset Columbia at home on Thursday night.
Yeah, and another one that we would talk to Jake Wimberly about, but he's finding his Halloween costume or whatever he might be doing. Maybe he's dressing up as a pirate this year for Halloween. We saw him at Pearl earlier this year, right? We saw him over there hugging the quarterback and everything else. So maybe he's going to be a pirate this year. Who knows? But it is Eat Dirt. That's one of the greatest names for a rivalry, guys. And this one is a little bit after the past 2 weeks, right? Everything's gone on in 2 weeks. Everything's gone on in 7 days, right? With Coach Pogue not being there anymore, and then Pearl upsetting Petal. This is just asking for shenanigans on Halloween night, Jared.
This is the weirdest Eat Dirt I can remember. It is definitely the spookiest, if you will. The last 7 days leading into Halloween night, it's just one of those where you look and say, all right, and then you take it back further. A lot of us picked Brandon to keep on rolling and maybe make a North State championship, South State championship, make a state championship appearance like they have been. And the wheels have come off. Lance Pogue is gone, and I hate Jake's not here to touch on that, but the fiasco that was the Lance Pogue saga that did not even make it to the end of the year. We don't see that in high school football. Usually they'll get to the end of the year and then they're gone. He's gone before they even get to the end of district play. And this is a team that has a playoff chance. Now, it is dwindling, but look at Pearl. We've talked about the big upset over Petal, who was one of the hottest teams in the state of Mississippi. Can they do it again? This is the perfect time for the Pirates to catch the Bulldogs. This is the ultimate time to catch them. They're vulnerable. Can Pearl put back-to-back performances together that are consistent and get a big win over Brandon? I think they have a chance.
Here's what's crazy, too. People don't realize that there is Northwest Rankin's 2-1 in that region. Oak Grove, Pearl, and Petal are all 2-1 in that region. That means right now, Pearl, as bad as they've been all season, they are tied for first in that region with 2 ball games left to go. That is insane. What does that mean for Brandon? Brandon comes in at 1-2 in region play. This is a must win for the Bulldogs this week. If you lose this game, it's over with, because you're going to have 3 losses in region play. And I tell you what, man, I like, you think you got Patrick Schooler over at Pearl, and you got Coach, Eugene Clinton at interim coach over at Brandon. I gotta like Pearl in this, because, there's a little more stability there. And, you got to wonder if the rest of those Brandon kids, are they starting to look on to next season, on to something else? And, how focused are they going to be coming into this ball game? You'd hope for Coach Clinton's sake that he's able to rally the troops. And I do think that if Brandon can make it into the playoffs as a 4 seed, they might go and upset somebody if they can just get things rolling. They've got 2 weeks to do it, but this is a must win. If they lose this one, they're out. And you know that Pearl would love it more than anything. The media darling, the Brandon Bulldogs, coming in, everybody thinks it's going to be them and Tupelo and 7A, including me. The media darling, everybody loves it. They have a chance to send them home for good for the rest of the season. You know that's got to be the motivation that Pearl's looking for. That is, you said it, Shots. This is going to be a weird one. It's just, and it's a weird one on Halloween night over in the Metro.
Now, I'll say this. It's all hope is not lost if Brandon drops this game. Now, I will say things look grim because things are not in your control anymore. You do still have Meridian left on the schedule. And not to say Meridian's just a pushover, but they haven't been great this year. 2-6 overall, 0-3 in the conference. But if you lose that game, you drop to 1-3, a possible 2-3 finish. Your best case scenario at that point is Northwest Rankin still has 2 tough teams left in Petal and Oak Grove. If they drop both of those, then they're both 2-3, and Brandon got that 3-0 victory over Northwest Rankin, which would put them just above in that 4 slot to make playoffs. That would be your only hope at that point.
They just hope it doesn't come down to a point differential because their win's not good. Yeah. But Caleb's right that Northwest Rankin's schedule is pretty tough to finish out the year. But man, Brandon just needs to win the game and not leave it up to that. Yeah,
got to. Yeah, but you're right. And tough way for Devin Cooper and the boys over in Northwest to close out the season. But yeah, for Brandon, this is a must win this Friday night.
Yeah, and another one that we wanted to talk about, we've talked about it. We love Lanier, right? What they're doing over there. They're 9-0. They got a big test this week against a Cleveland Central team. And if you think playing on Halloween is odd, go play in the Mississippi Delta on Halloween night and see what kind of crazy stuff can go on. But Lanier trying to keep it rolling and trying to stay undefeated. And this is a big test. That district, it's Holmes County Central, Lanier, Cleveland Central, and Lanier had no problems with Holmes County. But as we said, it's Halloween night, Brandon, and who knows what can happen. But you got to like Coach Kelly's bunch going into Cleveland this week.
Yeah, that's a long bus ride, though. There's a lot of things that goes into this game, Breck. One, Cleveland Central plays very tough at home. What they did to Vicksburg last week, beating them 34-10, was impressive. I love what Chris Lacey's done with Vicksburg. I thought Vicksburg was going to go in there and win that ball game. Vicksburg was well prepared, but they got completely shellacked. This is a Vicksburg team, and I know I'm talking about Vicksburg, but my point is that Cleveland Central held them to 0 offensive points or 0 offensive touchdowns the other night, and Cleveland Central is getting tougher and tougher. Christopher Watkins, a quarterback, he does a nice job of leading that team, and this is a long ride from Jackson up to Cleveland, Mississippi. So a young team, and I say a young team that they're starting to win, but do they know how to win on the road and how to make this a business-like trip? They already know that they're in the playoffs. So this is a game where Cleveland Central could upset Lanier. Don't be surprised if it does happen. If Lanier doesn't travel well and they get off the bus with heavy legs, they will get punched in the mouth this Friday night up in Cleveland.
West Point's taking on New Hope, and not sure that'd be much of a ball game, but how much would we love it if it would end up being a West Point Lanier North State Championship? How much fun would that be? Game would be over like this, right? Because they both run the ball. But it would be a fun game. Obviously, a lot of stuff still left to play out. But
just say that again. Just listen to what you're saying.
Yeah, West Point and Lanier playing. Obviously, West Point. Everybody
never would have thought that.
It's West Point, right? It's West Point. We knew that, but Lanier being there, both those two, as we said, both of them like to just ground and pound, and that would be a fun one. But it's a possibility that West Point could play Lanier for a chance to go to Starkville on the first weekend of December. And if you're going to be in Starkville on the first weekend of December, go ahead and book your room with the Hilton Garden Inn of Starkville, because that's the place to be. That's where all the media folks are going to be there. The fun folks are going to be there. And so book your stay at the Hilton Garden Inn of Starkville and get ready to cheer on your team. It's nicely located, not too far away from Davis Wade Stadium or even downtown Cotton District, so it's a great place to be. And so make sure that you book your stay. So that's a look at some of the bigger games that are going to be happening this week. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at a few more that are going to be going on. You're listening to the Varsity Voices podcast presented by C Spire.
At Fowler GMC, our customers have been our priority for over 70 years. That same dedication happens today as we offer a wide range of options to cater to every taste and budget. Whether you're looking for a luxurious and versatile SUV or a powerful truck, we have it all. Our knowledgeable team is here to assist you every step of the way, and we are committed to providing fast and courteous service. Visit us today and experience the difference for yourself. Trust, service, and selection. Fowler GMC.
3rd and 6 from the 40-yard line.
Sure you ready for this?
He takes a snap, drops back.
What's the right situation for a flea flicker?
They should have been in nickel defense. In
There's a nickel and a dime?
Now for a proper bull rush start on 3-point stance.
What a disastrous play call.
Ready or not, here we go.
Hey, Dad.
You can call me Coach.
It's amazing what C Spire's nationwide 5G network can connect. C Spire, inspired by you.
Elegance is in the details. Pine Straw America's premium longleaf pine straw subscription ensures your landscape stays pristine season after season. Precision edging, flawless installation, because your home deserves nothing less. Pine Straw America.
And welcome back into the Varsity Voices podcast presented by C Spire here in our fourth quarter segment built by Cherokee Brick as we take a look at all the games this week, or the big games and regular season finales for some teams like New Albany and Corinth. That's a big one up there in that district. That's going to be for the district championship. Of course, we had Pat Crump on with us as our Farm Families of Mississippi Player of the Week. Last week, we talked to him about that. New Albany was sort of one of the favorites in 4A North when the season started. Got a good quarterback in Braden Shettles, so that'll be a good one on that side of the bracket. Another one in 4A North, Clarksdale and Rosafort. I think this one is closer than people think. Clarksdale's obviously sort of been powering through that region, but Rosafort, we've seen what the guys can do with Alexander and Greg Hargrove putting up just video game numbers each and every week, so that could be a fun one. Louisville and Greenwood in 4A, that's a fun one. Louisville, of course, they're Louisville, but Greenwood's got some athletes as well, so could be a fun one there. And Kosciuszko going on the road to Elsie for an out-of-district game. You shouldn't have too much issues in that one. When we're looking at other in 4A, West Lauderdale and Choctaw Central, I believe in that one, the winner gets the 3 seed and the loser gets the 4 seed. Also, you got some other ones and one good one. Caleb, but this is down a couple of, not 4A anymore, but your old stomping grounds, PCS, they're going to be hosting Tylertown down there in South Mississippi.
Yeah, big matchup for them. Kind of a battle for seeding. A chance at a home playoff game between those two. Tylertown, they're a team that's been putting up some points this year outside of their win over Harrison Central, where they only scored 13. Elsewhere, they've been scoring 30 and 40 points every single game. PCS, a little battered. We mentioned Smith Stringer a couple episodes ago, having to go out with an ankle injury. He was back this past week against St. Stanislaus, played some limited action. And so if they continue to build up their strength, they could be still right back in the position to have some offensive firepower. So this could be one of those fun ball games and a big test for PCS to try to get that home playoff game.
Take a look at where some of our guys are going to be this week, like Jared Schatz and Germantown going to be taking on Clinton. And we've already talked about Clinton and, that whole region and how things are playing out, Jared, but this is a big one.
It is. Germantown's got a chance to stay in the district championship race. Oxford's still got to play Starkville here in a couple weeks. So they're not out of the equation of slipping a little bit. So we'll see what happens with the Chargers. But for Germantown, you win, you pretty much assure yourself hosting, which has not been done in a long, long time for Germantown. They were a much smaller classification when that happened. They have not done it at the 6A, 7A level. For Germantown, look, it's one of those. It's a tricky ball game. You're coming off really the gauntlet of District 2 7A. You played Starkville, Oxford, Madison Central, and this is a sneaky good Clinton team. I mean, they had Oxford on the ropes. Very good defense, led by Hammer Morgan, the new head coach over there. They're looking for that win to help them get into the playoffs. They still have to play Madison Central coming up, but they have got to find a win to propel them into the playoffs. And Germantown, if they can come off the emotional stretch that they just had and take care of business, they will set themselves up nicely. So a lot riding on this ball game. That Clinton Arrow defense is very good. Madison Central had a very good defense, and it kept the Jaguars in the ball game and got them out to an early lead. So we'll see how Germantown comes out. And it's a road game at Clinton. It's not easy to win over there.
This game would worry the stew out of me if I'm Coach Russell over at Germantown, just because of the emotional hangover of that Madison Central game. And Clinton, man, that team is so tough, and that's a tough place to play. So, to me, this is probably a more difficult game for Germantown than what they had last week against Madison Central, if you want to be honest.
But, I'm impressed, though, that even after the really heartbreaking loss against Oxford a couple of weeks ago, we thought they were going to struggle a little bit because of just, the hangover that comes from that game. Granted, most of y'all picked Germantown, but at the same time, it was still a conversation point they had throughout the week, but they still get it done. So I think they have the emotions in check from what I've seen so far this season. I don't expect that to be a factor in this one.
And we'll take a look at where Brandon Davis is going to be this week. Warren Central going to be taking on Callaway. Brandon, what's your thoughts on that one?
Man, this game scares me. I'm not kidding. And I know it's on Halloween. What worries me about it is, we're going to be over off Ellis Avenue next to Provine on Hughes Field, I believe, where we'll be playing this game at. That doesn't scare me. Good people over there. What scares me is the team we're playing in Callaway. Right now, Callaway's tied for second in the region with 2 wins and a loss. A tough team. They always play tough at home. And a couple of years ago, Warren Central walked over there, and Callaway gave them all they wanted. It took a miraculous fourth quarter surge from Warren Central to even win that ball game against Callaway. Callaway has the athletes. Good coach, Montre Edwards. He is a fantastic football coach. And, this is a team that's looking for the same thing Warren Central's looking for. Now, we've already secured a playoff spot, but a win this Friday night would lock up the region title for us. So, you just got to see if you can get over the emotions of that. Now, the one ace in the hole for Warren Central is Nash Morgan. He's been a player that I think has really flown under the radar this season. Next season as a senior, he's going to be one of the top players in the state. He's elevating himself toward that now. And this is a Callaway defense giving up about 23 points a game. So Warren Central has done extremely well against everyone this year offensively, averaging a little over 30 points a game. Very dynamic rushing attack. So, but Josh will have these kids ready, but it's a game that you can sleepwalk and you get punched in the mouth. And as we said, it's on Halloween. Who the heck knows what's going to happen? So, a big one for us this Friday night. We got to play our best ball for it.
Yeah, and we'll go down to the coast. We've talked previously this week about that region down in 7A on the coast. And guys, this is a big one. Gulfport and D'Iberville. Gulfport 6-2, D'Iberville 7-1. That's a district that, 1 through 4, whoever gets it, that's tough. If you did like some sort of if you ranked everybody 1 through 16 in the South, or 1 through 8, whatever it might be, all 4 teams from this region might be the top 4 seeds from the South, because they're that good. But guys, what are your thoughts on Gulfport and D'Iberville? Brandon, we'll toss it back to you.
Tell you what, I love D'Iberville's defense. C.J. Washington's leading the state with sacks. I think he has 12 on the season. The difference, I think, in this game, Breck and guys, is the balance of the offense. D'Iberville is going to run it heavy at you, whereas with Parker Nettles and Gulfport and Cooper Crosby, they're a lot more balanced approach. Gulfport's red hot. And I know this game is over at D'Iberville, but I feel like Gulfport really has a leg up in this one, just because they probably maybe played a little tougher of a schedule earlier in the season. But to me, I'm splitting hairs here. This is a coin toss, but this is going to be a fun ball game. Usually defenses wins at home, so we'll see what happens at Buddy Singleton Stadium this Friday night.
Well, what's crazy about this one is if D'Iberville wins over Gulfport, it's going to come down to point differential more than likely for who's going to be the top 2 seeds. because you've got Ocean Springs, D'Iberville, both at 3-1 right now, Gulfport 4-0. But the rest of the games on the schedule, if you're wondering, they play individually, St. Martin, Biloxi, and Harrison Central. So not to say automatic wins, but heavily favored games to come. So unlikely that that's going to change things. So again, if D'Iberville is able to upset Gulfport, you would have a 3-way tie for first place in that region. And somebody, because of points, is going to be left out of a home playoff game.
I don't want to go down the rabbit hole. I know we will later in the season, but with Brandon falling off the way they have, is this finally the year that a team from the coast makes it to Starkville for the state title from the South? I mean, is this the year?
Good question. Yeah.
I mean, you think of the three Caleb just mentioned. I mean, dadgum, that's some good ball right now.
This is the year to do it. Brandon, obviously their issues. Pearl is trying to find themselves. Northwest
Oak Grove can be beat.
Yeah, I mean Oak Grove is they're kind of up and down. Petal is up and down. So this is the year. This is the year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could be a Ocean Springs, or as you said, Gulfport, D'Iberville. Anybody in that region could really come through and make it to Starkville. Let's jump down to some of the smaller schools. Hatley and Hamilton, no big ones there. 7-2. Hatley, Hamilton 6-3. Also, you got Lloyd Star 8-1, going over to Amite County, Mississippi. They're 6-2. You got a big one over in the Delta. LaFleur County's taking on West Tallahatchie. Salem is matching up with Bogachita and Heidelberg. Kudos to them. They were able to get the game in this past week against Kemper County. I know it was like in the afternoon and it wasn't open to, fans or anything, but they did get to play. So congratulations hats off to everyone that made that happen, because the teams have been canceling on them. But Brandon, they got a big one against Clarkdale this week.
Yeah, Breck, before we go off to that, kudos to Kemper County and all the adults coming together and making a decision that was good for the kids to allow them to play that ball game. When they said they were going to cancel it, I thought it was ridiculous. I feel so bad about what happened to the people over in Heidelberg, but those kids on the field, the band members, the cheerleaders, they didn't do anything to deserve that. So kudos to them for making that happen. But fast forward to this week. Yes, a huge game over at Clarkdale. Heidelberg is 14-2 over Clarkdale. They won 66-0 last year, pretty much with the same team that they're going to play this year. Jake Lee, the quarterback for Clarkdale, Breck and I saw him in the state champion baseball tournament. Just a dog. I mean, he's the type of kid you want on your squad. 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, over 1,200 yards throwing. Leland Harris, a running back at Clarkdale, we talked about him. He had a huge game when they played Bay Springs early in the season. He has over 800 yards on the season. But guys, when it comes down to it, Heidelberg versus everybody. Chase Craft, 26 touchdowns, probably the top athlete in the entire state. I just don't see Clarkdale being able to pull this one out over a Heidelberg team that is very hungry and is looking to get back into the playoffs.
Hey, by the way, some quick research on a point that we kind of gotten past now, but I just wanted to resurface it real quick. The last time that the Coast had a team play for the highest classification state title, Ocean Springs, in 2004.
What?
Wow.
2004?
Caleb,
2004.
Were you even born in 2004, Caleb?
I was on the field watching Jimmy Johns win a state championship with Brookhaven over Clarkdale. Thank you very much.
21 years
Clarksdale, excuse me.
21 years ago.
Oh, I mean, I was still in school. I was
Bobby Hall. Hey, Bobby Hall ruffled a lot of feathers with the comment he made about coast teams, but hey, it's been 21 years since you played for the highest trophy. So I don't know. Maybe beautiful Bobby was on to something.
Yeah,
we'll see.
They can come back to royalty or come back to glory this year if one of those teams is able to come through. But that is a good look at all of the games that are going to be happening, whether they're tonight on Thursday or they're on Halloween, because last week of the season things get bumped up and moved around. Officials shortage, which if you want to be an official, contact the MHSAA. They need officials, right? So if you don't like games being on Thursdays, right, you can go help out and become an official. We'll give Adam Johnson and the boys a little bit of a plug there. But you might be saying, Breck, you're missing some of the best games, like the Maroon Bowl, East Webster and Eupora. That's a big one. Or the Battle for the Golden Chicken. That one is this week as well. Well, if you want to hear our thoughts on that one, you got to come back tomorrow for overtime, because we're going to have them in our Pick'em segment for the best 7 games of the week. So get your Halloween costume ready for Friday and come back and watch it. So for our entire crew, Brandon Davis, Caleb Hemmel, and Jared Schatz, Breck Riley signing off on the Varsity Voices podcast presented by C Spire.